Good afternoon. Tá bem. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us in our webinar. Today, we'll be talking about the real estate market in Portugal in these difficult and challenging times all of us are experiencing. With us, we have our general manager, Rafael Ascenso. And during this hour, we will talk about the sales and rental market behavior in this specific time, how customers are responding to this pandemic situation, and how Porta de Frente is acting and reacting to these challenging times. Throughout the session, you can write all your questions in the comment box on your right, which will be answered at the end of the event. So please be free to ask all your questions, your comments. We'll be happy to help you. Rafael, how do you define the moment we are living in? If you can compare it, for example, with 2009.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for being here and joining us. I think this new period has some advantages. I think that we are closer now than we were before with thanks to these new technologies. We can share more opinions and can have meetings like this one. Thank you very much for joining us. If we want to have an answer to that question, I think we must go back a little bit. If you think that in the middle of 2008, we started a big crisis, that we recovered in the past years, the fundamentals were completely different. We had a lot of people had loans, the developers had loans, so the financial crisis affected a lot the real estate market. Today, and if we think about 2019, what we experienced was an adjustment in the prices after 5 years of a big growth in demand, growth in the number of business done and the sellers done, and growth in prices. We stabilized in 2019. So we finally reached a point where the market, the demand and supply equaled. We were experiencing an adjustment in the market. What does it mean? It means that if you had a property in the right price, the demand was there. So you sold your property. But if you had a property that's overpriced, you didn't sell it in 2019. So it took some time for people to understand that they had to adjust their price to the reality. And this is what is a market, a mature market, what it does. In the beginning of 2020, that trend was there. So we were experiencing the same trend. What I think it will happen now is that that adjustment will be done faster than it was if this pandemic didn't occur. So I think that what we will experience is a faster adjustment in the market. Of course, we will have people that for different reasons will have to sell their properties quickly, perhaps with the lowest price than the average in the market. It will occur for sure, because there are a lot of people that perhaps will lose their jobs, will lose their companies, will need some liquidity to restart their companies, and are in a rush to make that liquidity to use it. So, but I think those are exceptions. What will happen in the market in average terms is that we'll have a lack of demand in the next few months, but then that demand will rise, and I don't think that we'll have a drop in the average prices. Of course, it depends of in each region we are talking about, because there are regions or neighborhoods with more supply than the others. But I think that in an average term, it will be a slow. We will slow down and get back really quickly, because we think about what are the basis of our market. We have uh, not buyers and developers are not depending on loans, so they will not have the pressure of banks to sell. On the other hand, this is a globalized situation. It didn't hit us alone. It hit the whole globe in different stages, but it hit us all. So we have to recover. All of us have to recover as united, and so this is an advantage. You have no one to blame, like in 2009. You had the financial system to blame, and in the previous years you had other crises that you had to blame a boom in the real estate and a blood in the real estate. You don't have it today, a bubble in the real estate. You don't have it. So you don't have anyone to blame, which is much easier to recover in that circumstances.
And how is the sales market behaving during this period? How are your business deals at this time?
Yes, during these 4 5 weeks, we closed almost all the business we had in pipeline. So
Okay.
it revealed confidence from the buyers. The ones that we didn't close, they were postponed. They did not give up of the purchase. So it's another sign of confidence. And in the past 5 weeks, we had 2 sales started in this period and closed in this period. We have 2 important sales. One of them over 3 million and another one over 1 million. And on the other hand, on the rental market, we had started and closed 7 rentals in this period, and we have 7 or 8 more to close during this week and beginning of the next week. So that's another sign of confidence in this market.
And the rentals market, the behaviors are the same?
Look, in the rental market, we have more leads now. I'm not going to tell you that the rental market is behaving in terms of demand better than the sales market, because there are more leads for the rental market, which is normal. And in the rental market, we have now a lot of properties coming back to the long-term rental market, were properties that were in a short term, but with the shortage of tourists now, of course, they are going back, because in the first stage in 2014 and 15, they were in the long term and they went to the short term. Now they are doing the reverse. And so there are more properties on the rental market now. And on the other hand, there are a lot of developments that are finishing now, that the delivering is now, and so people will want to rentabilize their properties in the long term market. But going back a little bit of for the foreigners to have an idea what we are doing in this moment, I think it's important for you to understand that our country has the same attractives. We didn't lose any attractive in this period. On the other hand, I think that we reinforced some of those attractives that we had before. And I can tell you about some articles that were published in the international press, that it's a little bit the image that we have now abroad.
Yes, sure. There are several international media who praise the way Portugal is dealing with this global scourge, COVID-19, from Forbes magazine to New York Times, or even our neighbor El País in Spain. All of them praise Portugal for its reaction and adaptation to this new reality. The Forbes publication, for instance, states that Portugal is one of the best places in the world for those who wish to retire. The Forbes chose 3 countries to live in after retirement, and Portugal is one of them. They reinforce our good beach coasts, our gastronomy, our healthcare. In each case is very good at this time. So it's very important to have a good healthcare system. The New York Times, for example, in an article criticizing a bit the reaction of the Spain government, praises Portugal for how different we are reacting to this COVID-19. And El País, at last, says that the eyes of the world should not be only in the northern Europe, but also in the south of Europe, where Portugal is having an exemplar attitude regarding this COVID-19. So, Rafael, could you please tell us a bit more about the Golden Visa and HR programs for the foreigners?
Yes, that's another good thing of what we are going through. Our government guaranteed that they will not touch in these 2 programs, Golden Visa and HR. We need, of course, to attract all the investment that we can, foreign investment, and of course they will not cancel those programs, and perhaps if they do something, is to improve the programs, not to restrict the programs, which is a very good news for those who want to take advantage of these 2 great programs that we have for investors here. On the other hand, if going back a little bit to the fundamentals of what we have to offer to the foreigners, it didn't change. It won't change with this period. We will still have the best ratio cost per quality of life. We'll still be the 3rd more peaceful country in the world. During this period, our violence decreased for half than used to be before. So the country is much more united than it was before, which is something very interesting. And we still have our arms open to all the foreigners that want to come and live with us like we did before. And all these attractives will be reinforced. So I think the social stability and the concept of community will be much stronger now after this period. So I believe that there are a lot of reasons to come here after this, and there are a lot of reasons also to invest in the real estate market. For instance, we have programmed 3 new launches for the next 2 months of new buildings. They will not be cancelled unless there is something that we are not predicting, but that is also a sign that we are very confident. And if you buy properties of plan that will be delivered in 1 year, 2 years, I'm sure that we will be doing a great business. because I believe that the demand will increase and the prices will reach the same level that were before in the short term, and who knows, might go a little bit upper in the next years.
And how does Porta da Frente has been adapting to this scenario? Because this is a business within people. We visit houses, we talk to people, we see people. How are you adapting in these challenging times?
Yes, for the past years, we have developed a lot of tools, IT tools, that now allow us to be very close to our clients. We didn't do anything specific for this situation, but we found out that the tools that we have developed for the past years were perfect for this time. So we have this ability to be very close to our clients, to do some presentations online, to show houses online, do virtual tours, virtual meetings, and we have this multi-channel service PF360, which is a tool that allows us to be and to present almost every property that you want to know and give you all the details. We have a lot of content in our database. We have videos of neighborhoods, videos of cities. We have a lot of contents about schools, hospitals, healthcare system, of restaurants, night living. So you can, now that you are at home, perhaps you can know all those tools and all of those contents in the comfort of your place.
Just to reinforce what Rafael was saying, we have a new blog. I'll write the address here on the right box, but it's blog.portadafrente.com. On this new blog, you can see all our videos. You can choose your location. You can browse our properties. You can also download some ebooks about schools, about golf, about coming and investing to Portugal. You can also see some contents now. They are more useful for those who are at home. For example, some activities you can do with your children, some movies you can watch with the whole family. We had to create these new contents to be more useful at this time for you, for us to serve you and to be closer to you directly from our homes. Rafael, let me just. This year, Porta da Frente completes 25 years. What is like to celebrate these dates in this scenario?
Well, we wouldn't expect it to celebrate it in this scenario. That's
Yes.
a fact. We had different ideas, but it is what it is. And well, there are good things in everything. And one of these good things is that during these 25 years, we always took our decisions looking ahead, looking for several years, not only for that moment or for that year. And so I think that prepared us much better for a situation like this. And to be, and it's a different way of celebrating 25 years. What can I say? It's, but we hope that when we celebrate 50 years, will be different, at least. But we are very confident for the next 25 years. We are very confident for this year also. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank to all our customers, to our clients that trust us during these 25 years, and tell them that they can trust us for 25 more. And that's our goal. And that's the way we look ahead and that's the way also that we take all our decisions.
Just before we go to our questions, I would like you to talk a bit about the importance of your home, because now we are constantly in our home, in our private spaces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another positive thing about this, is that perhaps you give more value now to your home, to your property, than you did before. And you might find out that after all, the best investment that you can make, it's in your home, it's in real estate, and it has always been like there, and it will always be like this. So that's it. Real estate, it's a safe investment. It's comfortable when you need to be there, and so, well, it's the best investment that you can make in the long run.
Perfect. And now we're going to answer some questions. Rafael, what is your opinion on liquidity for developers who are using financing?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
What is your opinion on liquidity for developers who are using financing?
Well, that's another difference between 2009 and 2020, is that most of the developers used and are using their own funds, which is a big difference. Most of the developers in Portugal are funds that has a lot of liquidity, and that with dozens of years, so they are used to go through difficult times and to support those difficult times. So I don't think that they are pressured by those funds, and that's one of the big difference between 2009 and 2020.
Okay. We have another question. Does the NHR program will remain as it was before? Do you believe it won't change at all?
Well, there was an idea that they will have a fixed rate for retired people. Non-retired people will still have the same regime, that's for sure. But there was an idea that for retired people, they would have to pay a fixed tax of 10%. Before this pandemic, that was the idea. But they never legislated about it. And I don't know, that's the only thing that we cannot ensure. But I don't think that's the biggest concern of our politicians now. And I'm not sure, but it is not also for the Swedish politicians or for the other or the French politicians to take care of that now. I think it's not appropriate. So they have bigger concerns, and I think that it will be the same that it is now. I don't know, for 1 year, 2 years maybe.
Okay. And do you think this is a better time to sell or to buy? Or both?
Or both. I think it's a time to buy, and but don't expect to get bargains. I don't think that punctually you might find one or two, or people that are completely desperate. But I wouldn't bet on that. I think that the market will very quickly recover the dynamic that it had before, especially in what concerns to demand. But I wouldn't bet on raising prices also or dropping prices. I think that the level that we had before was right, and I believe that what will happen is an adjustment. People that had overvalued properties would understand finally that they have to drop their prices to the current levels and the levels of the markets.
Okay, thank you. We have just one more question before we end our session. So please, if you have any more questions, write them down so we can help you and answer them. Rafael, how will the expected sharp reduction in the foreign travel affect or will affect our property markets?
Sure, affects because I think the recovery of the foreigner demand, and I must tell you that 65% of the properties we sell in Porto de Frente Cristis are for foreigners, so it's a very important market for us. It's our main market, it's our foreigners. Portuguese represents now 35%. So it's a concern. I think that as soon as the travels are allowed, I think the demand will recover faster or slower with that decision.
Okay, thank you. Rafael, I would like now to ask you to end the session if you want to add something else before we end it.
Now, I'd just like to thank you all for being here, give you a note of optimism, that's important, and telling you that we'll keep all the same attractions that we had before for people to invest or to live here. And those points and those attractions are reinforced and will be reinforced after these periods that I hope that is the shorter possible.
Yes. Thank you so much, Rafael. Thank you for all our subscribers and our participants. We are totally available to continue this conversation if you'd like. You can reach us at info@portadafrente.pt. You can also search us in the Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or Twitter. And you can also go to our website, www.portadafrente.com, and we'll be more than happy to assist you in any further issues. Thank you so much again, and stay safe.
Thank you. Stay safe.